Thank you for still being with me on TMI Tuesday. And I did say we have a couple of topics to really treat. And I'll be prioritizing the national topic, which is on the National Assembly jumbo pay, and Buhari's comments in support of the jumbo pay. And we'll look at what transpired on Wednesday in the Green House Chamber, where there was a launching of the Green Chambers magazine. And the president did say that it's a wrong perception for Nigerians to think that the lawmakers at the federal level are being overpaid for what they do. And you know, the president did say that, and it caused a lot of ripples, reactions from the from various groups of the country. We have the NBA reacting to that. We have Labour reacting to that. We have SERAP reacting to that. And all of this will be giving it flesh by talking about it on this show. And discussing this with me, I have Dr. Patrick Awo-Osaige. Dr. Patrick Awo-Osaige is also a legal practitioner. Thanks for coming, Doctor.
It's my pleasure. Good morning, Philip. And hello, viewers at home.
Well, as I say, at every point the president speaks, ripples happen. And just familiarizing with what transpired over the statement credited to the president. What's your comment about this?
Thank you very much. Well, it's not absolutely out of place for the president to express himself the way he so wished, so to speak, with respect to the statement he credited to him. Where I have a lot of worries is considering the fact that we have a country like us as of today, and the poverty level is on the high. And then for you, if you go out of this country to other very civilized and democratic country like we claim to operate here, now you discover that the pay is not comparing their pay to what our legislators are getting here. It's a far cry from that, because theirs just more of a pastoral sum. It's just more like you rendering services like it should be. You have come to contribute your quota to helping your people, making laws that will better the lot of everyone. And that is the essential reason. But again, on our part here, you discover that it's more or less like you've won a lottery to become a member of the Green or Red Chambers, as the case may be. You won some big benefits of sorts, and that's the reason they kill themselves, they fight over it, a whole lot of legal talk, so all about to become a representative, as it were. If your intention was genuinely to serve the ordinary man or to create laws that will better the lot of Nigerians or the region you have come from, you would not be that desperate. And if you have the capacity, the people know those that have capacity amongst them. So those that don't really have this capacity to do the needful, they throw themselves up and fight their way through, and they find things like that. Now, for the president making such claims, unfounded, in my own opinion, it's stirring up unnecessary anger and bellicosity amongst the people, because they know themselves that the president ab initio never spoke in that light. And people have been making, is it because it's now the 9th assembly? That was not mentioned in the 8th assembly. When
comparatively.
Yes, when the likes of Bukola Saraki was Senate president, and now you have an assembly that is all encompassing, so to speak. I think these have become the very reason some persons are very, very critical about that kind of statement.
Well, thank you, yes. Thank you, Patrick. This is actually going to be a tip of the iceberg, and what we're going to be having a taste of. But we'll take a short break. Don't you go away. Thank you once again for joining me on TMI Tuesday, where we had a break. We had a great opportunity to have the presence of a legal practitioner, custodian of the law, Felix Isere. Thanks for coming, Felix.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, we were having this discussion about the jumbo pay to National Assembly, and the NBA, Labour and others, they're flaying Buhari, the president, over his support on the jumbo pay for the National Assembly members. Do you think different about this?
No, actually, I've followed the debate on social media, jumbo pay. But there's something that seems to be surprising me. Whenever we're talking about jumbo pay, whenever we're talking about extravagant pay in the government. All attention seems to focus on the National Assembly alone. Nobody talks about the executive. And I can tell you that if you look at the budget of the country, if you look at the current expenditures, you will realize that the executive take up to 70%. But drawing attention to the legislature, I have realized that sometimes I have the opportunity of going through treatment of some of the National Assembly members, particularly the House of Reps, and got to know what they receive at the end of the month. If you combine all the members of House of Reps together and you see what they receive in a month, and then you also go to the Senate, sometimes you will just conclude that Nigerians and the National Assemblies are taking Nigerians for granted. But coming to the statement of the president, I have not heard him. I didn't hear him say that. So it would be wrong for me to make any categorical statement on the statement of Mr. President. But I must say that the payment for National Assembly members, for members of the executive, is unfair to Nigerians, especially at this time when we still have high level of unemployed Nigerians roaming the streets, especially at this time when we have poverty ravaging our economy and the people. So it's unfair, and I think that this debate right now will further spur up reaction that will necessitate a review, a downward review of this payment for the betterment of Nigeria and for the interest of Nigeria as a country. That's my opinion.
Okay. If we look at what has been playing out, and some people feel bad about this, basically because of the economic realities that show. He was talking about the executive, though we don't have statistics to show that about 70% of the budget is taken over by them. But what do you make about the executive? Is it just the National Assembly?
Obviously, like he has rightly stated, it's an aberration. It doesn't make meaningful sense to anybody. If you compare, like I said earlier on, to other democratic setting, like we claim to be, I said claim because if it's democratic, everything should be open. Now, the Freedom of Information Bill is there to scrutinize, but there are certain of these government agencies that you cannot get to really know what is happening. Why is it not looking like a myth that we cannot really unravel? And that's what we should begin to agitate for. I believe the executive itself is over-bloated. I don't think we need all the expense. You look at the country. He has rightly stated everywhere is ravaged with poverty. You see people, unemployed youths, and we want them to behave well. When a young man, like I was showing someone, I said, look, the credit card and the debit card, they function differently. When you have a credit card, you could buy without having money, with the hope of money going to come. And that's what a civilized world. You have your social security that could keep you going over a time before you could gain yourself meaningfully into what you so wish to do. But here we don't have anything like that. And you expect people to live and behave well. And we are enforcing laws here and there. You know, being a lawyer does not really mean we should just look at, we should look at the other aspects of society and see how people are really faring. Okay. So the government, in a large sense, had failed the people. I would say that it's my opinion. They have failed, and we shouldn't be talking about rise in pay or downward review of the legislative arm and all whatnot. Those statements are very irritating and very annoying. And I believe the presidency, the Senate, and all what agencies they have bloated, and many of these agencies are not even functioning. You just hear their names on paper and the billions are rolled in, not accounted for.
I remember vividly what you said earlier in the conversation, where you did say that the aspect of the executive and all of these that pertains to bringing it up about the issues on the money that is being talked about.
Yes.
Now, is it not also supposed to reflect on what the executive is out against? Because he did say before you came on the show that the 8th Senate never had this opportunity to be supported by the president. Now the 9th Senate is supporting, the president is supporting the 9th Senate, so to speak. What do you make of this? Why didn't the president speak in this direction earlier?
Like what I've said before, I would not want to speak categorically on the statement of Mr. President.
Okay.
Because I have not heard him. But if from what you have said, if from the
it's in public domain, of course.
It's in public domain. As well, you say it's true that the President said that. I think that you and I can easily conclude and say that this is why the President, because in the 8th Senate, he never had the cooperation of the leadership.
So it could be coming out from the cooperation he's having now from the 9th Senate.
Cooperation that he's having
from the 9th Assembly.
Yeah, the Saraki-led Senate was seen as more of an opposition Senate or National Assembly. But now he's not having a National Assembly occupied by members of his party who have been loyal to him, who have been able to show that, oh, we can work together as one. So if he supported them right now, I can say that it's because of the fact that there have been synergy and cooperation between the two.
And that suggests sentiments.
Yeah, to me, I don't think that's fair to Nigerians. You know, that's not fair to an average Nigerian who is on the receiving end of this. But we seem to be more concerned about the National Assembly without even coming to state level and even to the local government level. You know, I am one of the advocates of restructuring. But people believe that when you want to restructure Nigeria, it's all about the north and the south, it's all about the west and the east. That is what they understand by the terms of restructuring. No. If we're actually restructuring Nigeria, it has to come to the state level and even at the local government level. Today, you see in states where a state governor receives 500 million naira security votes. But you go to the police station to lay complaint, they will tell you that you have to pay a particular amount of money for them to be able to write statement down. So you don't ask yourself a question. The security votes being given to governors of states, what is it not being used for? You don't see realize that police officers stay along the road to collect money from and extort innocent Nigerians. And when you ask them why are they doing this, they will tell you that they need to buy fuel in their vehicle. The question asked is, what is the security vote? What is it meant for? Because if you understand the term security vote, you understand that, oh, they realize that the governor of the state is the chief security officer of the state. And there are some security challenges, there are some things that need to be done because the country sees security as one of the most focal points of any government. So you realize that both the executive and the legislature, it seems that all they receive is particular to themselves. You go to the presidency, you see a special advisor to the president or even to the state level, special advisor to the governor who has aides under him. At the end of the month, they pay them. It's okay, they're going to all about that. But what I'm saying is, if we are talking about restructuring Nigeria, we should understand that restructuring Nigeria is not about looking at it from the regional point of view or from the geographical point of view, but also restructuring it as the class of Nigeria, the class where you have the upper, the middle, and the lower class. Nobody is talking about, oh, how do we take care of the unemployed Nigerians right now? Since the presidency receives in budget for a year, they get up to 30 billion naira. No, let us cut this thing. Let them receive 15 billion naira. Why the rest 15 billion naira to be used to pay unemployed Nigerians who are in the streets? Nobody is sticking in this light. It's all about the National Assembly. It's all about the executive. But again, something I also sympathize with the legislators, because you know why? The people believe that being a legislator, you should tie road, you should do this. And when you are telling them that I'm done doing my duty is to make law, they realize that you are a failure. So sometimes most of them want to make more money. They want to get more money to be able to service their constituency. Does
that justify that action of taking such allowances?
No, it doesn't justify it. But sometimes you should also understand that when you're criticizing people, you must also understand their challenges. I'm not saying that you should receive that. No.
Okay, but you're not talking about the election money. You're not talking about the money that they vote into getting a party nomination for.
That is the challenge.
Don't you think that's the basics?
When we are blaming leadership, when we are blaming the problem of Nigeria leadership, we should also be blaming the problem of Nigeria followership. An average followership of a political party believe that, when you are elected, you should be giving us money, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing that. Nobody is interested how many bills you are sponsored. That is for their interest. Nobody is interested in how many motions you are moved. How many persons? Nobody is interested in what have you attracted to the constituency. But what most of them are interested is, how do you service me at the end of the month? So if you look at it, sometimes it is because of the followership that we have that are psychopathic, that are hypocritic, that seem to be more concerned about, what do they get from you as an individual than the collective interest of people that necessitate these actions.
Okay, do you agree to that, Patrick?
That's what?
The situation where followership also helped to escalate this issue? Why politicians are getting this pay to themselves?
What do you expect from the follower that does not have any hope of livelihood? What do you expect of them, of someone who is not well guided and well orientated? We are sitting here talking now because we had the privilege of going through schools. Some of them lost their parents and a whole lot of issues have come. And this is what I talked about earlier on when I said the social responsibility of government, as it were. We do not have stuff like that. And hence we are talking about restructuring. Let's see how we can get this thing down to the barest minimum it could go and help the average person. So when people are disoriented and they don't understand, all they need is the first thing is to survive.
Okay.
So you need to survive first,
yes,
before you start talking of, making up bills and that will enhance you. You need to be alive first.
And
so you wouldn't blame them absolutely for demanding money, because that's all they know. They wouldn't go into stealing and all of that. Okay, I'm working for you. They see it as work. They want to be a governor, and I come and say, okay, what do you say? Take up stickers, banners, and go around. And they see it as their own work. And whether you are credible or not, that doesn't arise at all. But just so long I do this, and then you pay me, and I still have one big man I'm attached to.
Okay.
So that's basically how it is.
Again, to set the record straight, there is this statement credited to Professor Ise Sage. I said that for the senator, an average senator takes home monthly 15 million naira monthly, and that of the House of Rep takes home 13.5 million naira monthly. If the record is straight, we could also verify that if it's straight. But again, we have the Economic Confidential Report that again said annually there's a take-home pay outside other allowances for lawmakers at the federal level, 30.5 million naira annually. If we have to weigh this, there seems to be something begging for a question, as in, why can't the National Assembly publish the books to set the record straight? What do you think about that?
Like I said, who will want to do that? They are in and they wouldn't want to expose themselves. They wouldn't want to watch the dirty linen out there and everybody get to know what's in. But obviously, we have the Freedom of Information Bill that is already a law, and we know we can demand for this. But who will give it to you? These are the issues like I'm talking about. That's why I said, if we are a democratic the way we claim to be, this should not be an issue you should fight over. And again, we couldn't look at just the figures. Let's be honest here. I'm not looking at the money that is so much, or maybe they have paid, what is 30 million at the end of the year? Yes, I agree that it's so much money, but for the kind of life and they live now, so to say, I don't think it's so much. It's using that money to create the opportunities that is needed. You need money to do so much. So I would not just expect them to be taking 2 kobo and then they'll say they are representing. What are they representing? What I'm saying is that you have that money at your cover, you have it with you, then what have you done with it? And I know some of them that have been empowering their people. I know a whole lot of them. We cannot rule that fact out. So like he said, I don't want us to look and just say, oh, let's be hanging it on the House of Assembly or the National Assembly alone. I don't believe that is the best way to go about it. We should overhaul the entire system.
Yes.
We should overhaul the entire system. Look, there's so much money here. What have we done? We just go there, you contest election, you sit there. There are some of them that don't do anything. I don't want to mention names. And we know of those that have also done so much, even gone out of their way to savaging and helping. I'm happy that the likes of Senator Abu that was hitting a lady the other time is helping to construct surgery, cosmetic surgery for someone who was burnt. I think things like that are things we should be doing. So going out of your way to coming down, why we are talking here now is that, come on, that you are up there, you should consider those underneath you, that they are passing through a whole lot of hazards in town. Okay. So these are the issues I believe we should be talking about, not the figure, whether we have a billion or what. It's not the billions you have. Donald Trump played with some billions the other day, and just for the drum to throw around to go and kill someone in Iran. So not the billions, it's not about the money. What was his name? George Bush said, what you do to America, you can shake the foundation of the tallest building, you can't shake the foundation of the United States. This is government. Government have access to funding. It's not the money. I'm not interested in how much, what are we doing what we are supposed to do? If an agency of government is here, have you lived up to expectation? It's not to get chartered accountant that will balance the sheets for you when records are, when the acts or the work that should be done are not done. So these are the areas we should concentrate on, because we're only concerned about the money. From the poor man perspective, a very impoverished person, he will see that money as so much. But let me tell you the truth. If you are really working, that money is nothing. What is 30 million and at the end of the day? If it's nothing, if you want to really go into work, I remember a governor, I don't want to mention his name, he had about 127 aides. And they said, why do you have this? He said, because I needed to create platform for them to get money and to start themselves up. You know, and I think that was phenomenal. That was something good too. So that you can pull these young men off this. Look at the young youths in Edo, for instance, now. Killing themselves. Over what? How will a young man be running around the streets? You say you are killing yourself on the name, or I belong to a group or the other group. Okay. And they are doing some stupid anniversary that doesn't make any sense. Okay, and then they are wasting. These are some of the issues.
Yes.
People are no longer taking their life seriously because they see it as a joke. Oh boy, make we just leave, and anyhow we see them, we take them. Anything that come by. A woman was gunned down because you know, or because he was years ago along Silicon Road, because for just 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira, and they said, I will pay you 20,000. Go and shoot somebody. And they shot the woman. They said she was smashing another drunkard from a woman. He said, my husband will go there to drink, so that's the woman. Go and kill the woman. And somebody in his right senses did that. You look at it. So that's where we are. That's what government should worry about. We should worry about that and begin to make the people see the dignity of living.
Okay, Nigerians believe, most Nigerians believe that the posture of the president as fighting corruption could be dented by this backing of the jumbo pay. What do you make of that?
Well, I think Nigeria, they've had this perception about the president. The president is not really fighting corruption, but fighting the opponents. Also flowing from the statement of Professor Issa Sage. You know, it has been, when I read his book when I was in university studying law, Professor Issa Sage was a man that we have all respected so much, you know, giving him, but when you now realize recently, since he got an appointment, the position he has taken on issues, especially issues of corruption, you know, one would say express his own disappointment and that. But I think that from the statement of the president and from the reactions of Nigerians, one can easily say that they are not comfortable with the posture of Mr. President. It seems that Mr. President has given confirmation and an approval to excessive payment to the National Assembly officers. It seems that Mr. President has stylishly supported extravagancy in governance. It seems that Mr. President has logically and reasonably, you know, formed an alliance with the National Assembly, you know, to undermine Nigerians and their interests. So I think that Mr. President, if actually he made that statement, is not fair, it's not okay. But again, I keep saying this, like what my brother said. When we just look at the figures. I was opportunity to sit down with the senator of the Federal Republic that when he actually explained to me how this money coming back, I felt sorry for them.
Felt sorry?
No, I felt sorry. When he explained to me, if actually what he told me was true.
Okay, but what he explained shows that the monies were coming in that form.
The money were coming in. Some
in
of
that
them
form. So that seems to corroborate the story.
Yes, that's the truth.
Okay, go ahead.
They have to pay their aides. They will have to do this. They will have, when you now realize the one that come to them personally, it may not be able to, no. But if you go to a house of a senator, sometimes you have a reason to say, this guy is not easy. You realize visitors are coming, and when you go to their house, they don't give you money as transport. It becomes a problem. You go to their house, they will.
But should it be the style? You seem to empathize with that story. Should it be the style?
When we are talking about restructuring, it's not just about restructuring Nigeria. Also restructuring our mindset. Also restructuring our orientation. Also restructuring our values. Because an average Nigerian judge a politician performance based on what he can benefit from you, and when they are not benefiting that from you, they see you as a failure. So for you to meet up their expectation, you have to see how to augment money to satisfy their interests. You go to a senator's house every time, you see invitation, birthday invitation, wedding invitation, birthday invitation. At the end, if you don't send money to those who are celebrating, they will say that you don't recognize your constituency. So sometimes you sympathize with them because of the system they have found themselves, and because of that system, they will do everything possible to ensure that they meet up with the system. So the only way forward is we have to restructure the system. We need to restructure how we think, how we rate these people, and how we expect it from them.
Okay, well, like we have here the expenses of the lawmakers. The ESTA code is there, hardship allowance is there, constituency allowance, furniture allowance, newspaper allowance, wardrobe allowance, and recess allowance, house maintenance, utilities, domestic staff, entertainment, personal assistant, vehicle maintenance, and fueling allowance, and then the motor vehicle allowance and duty toll. All of this in this package What will be left?
But let me tell you something. If you look at all these allowance,
Are all this necessary?
If you look at it, add them together. It's not even up to what. Sometimes it's not even up to what a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria receives monthly as an allowance.
But again, does that justify what?
No, it does not. It does not.
Getting?
So I don't always want us to be talking about the National Assembly.
Okay.
It also goes straight to we're talking about Nigeria and way forward.
Yes, that's the way forward. Now, let's look at how the narrative can be changed, because even the governed seems helpless. Because if the National Assembly and the executive seem to be on the same page on this, who's going to change the system?
The unfortunate thing is that even those you seek to help, just like Moses in the Bible, you remember he attempted to help his people. He saw an Egyptian, he killed an Egyptian, and he saw two of his brethren fighting, and he said, why are you fighting? He said, do you want to kill me? Even if you go the extra mile, I say, what's wrong with him? Why are you talking too much? Maybe somebody is paying him. That is why he's saying what he's saying. We are trying to address your problem or the problem of other folks, young people like us. Let's begin to think right. They say, no, we don't have that time now. There's no time. At the time you spend some years in prison, you remember you have enough time.
Enough time.
You understand? So we need to get things done properly. And I think the younger people, I'm happy that a lot of young people are beginning to see light in what we are saying. Because it's good for us to come out and not fighting. We are not talking of going to take up arms. We need to discuss this thing. We need to negotiate it. We're not taking up arms, we are shouting. We did that way back in the university. At this level of our lives, we shouldn't be taking up banners, jumping on the street with stick. We want to burn somewhere. What are we achieving by so doing? We should come up constructively and begin to allow the international community to see what we are doing. We are asking for restructuring. We are asking for this to be done, and we should begin to encourage our people.
It's a process.
Yes, it's not just one day affair. Now, don't just consider what I'm going to eat now, and then I grab the money now. Okay, if you've gotten some money from politics, what have you done?
Like he talked about a change of value, of the value system.
That's where we our churches.
It trickles down.
We have our churches.
It trickles. Yes, that's what I'm going.
Our churches,
it trickles down to churches.
Yes. So that a lot of things
because religious bodies.
Yeah, religious bodies, as it were. Now,
Yes.
we see when the value is now on how much you could bring to church or to the mosque or to anywhere, to a spiritual leader, and that is how they certify you that you are doing well, then that become an issue. You know, it's all about, I remember those days in the university, I remember a leader of a church had encouraged a young lady to stop buying beverages with her allowances, rather buy some stuff from Lagos and then sell back in school. And she turned it over time. At the time she left school, she had $1,300,000 in her account. From the little savings she was able to come by, and she started up a business. She never needed to run around the streets frustrated. Our youths are so wasteful. I'm sorry, sir. With all respect, go around the bars in Benin.
But you can't generalize. You can say some of our youths.
Our youths, yes, some of our youths. I'm also a youth.
Because that includes you. That includes me.
Well, when I generalize that,
but we can't again assess how wasteful we are in terms of our personal.
You know why I'm saying that? I'm talking because you know your capacity. You know your capacity, and you know these are some of the areas. You know, Obasanjo once made a statement, say if you can buy a bottle of beer and all of that, because of the consumption. I'm not against you doing what you want to do, but I'm trying to say let us have some right thinking and have some very good comportment to push ourselves forward, other than just looking at we are here now, let's get on with what we have now. Okay. I think that is how I see it. It's all encompassing. It's not just pointing accusing fingers, to the government or to the Senate, to whoever is governor or whoever. What about you? What have you done for yourself?
We need a general overhaul.
Yes, we need to get busy, and I think that's.
Thank you, Dr. Patrick Awosangi, and of course, a big thanks, Felix Ishere.
I appreciate it.
And we spent some time discussing about the National Assembly's jumbo pay. But again, we look at what transpired in the state some days back, basically on Saturday, where the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress came visiting, and as he alleged, he was attacked by thugs, and issues about how that transpired also generate ripples again, looking at the field in Edo APC. We've had various constitution and reconstitution of reconciliation committees to address this gap. But the gap seems like a gulf that can't close. The more one tries to close it, the more one is overwhelmed by it. And then we just have the recent one of led by Chief Bisi Akonde, which seemed to be carrying some support from both sides. I agree. So looking at this, there are issues about what is happening in Edo APC field. The two figures there, the governor of the state, the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, the national chairman of the party, does it mean that this gap in between is beyond closure?
I think first, let me say this, that what is happening in those states today, occasioned by the quest for one man to get power, is shameful, is embarrassing, and disappointing. But my only consolation is the fact that I have decided not to be a part of this. So when history will record people who were part of the abuse of our democratic process in those states, when history will record those who supported, who defended, and who were part of the rascality we've seen in those states, I will not be counted among. That's my only consolation. Having said that, I want to tell you that what happened in the airport, I was a victim of it. I was at the airport, so I'm not here to talk about what somebody told me, but from what I saw.
Okay,
I was at the Benin airport.
Were you at the airport to boo?
No. I'm coming in. There was nothing like boo. When people try to divert attention from what happened to say boo, nobody was booed. People were only sent to embarrass and attack people. What happened when we go to the airport to receive the national chairman, as the display landed, we heard people shouting 4+4. Why would this happen at the airport? So as we were leaving the airport, we saw those people were shouting 4+4. They started throwing stones. The car that we were, I was at the front seat. The back of the car was damaged from the people who were shouting 4+1. I asked the question: what is the reason behind this? For God's sake, we practice democracy in Edo State. It has not got to this extent. So what is happening in Edo State today is not an issue between Oshomole and the governor. People came to be saying it. Oh. It's not an issue. Have you ever heard the national chairman of the APC made any statement to insult the governor? Have you ever seen him made any statement to say, fight the governor? Have you ever seen him make statement to say, Osbasi will not come back for a second time?
Okay, but the question still remains, can't it be closed? Are you saying that there is no gap?
The only gap there is that, number one, somebody that thinks that is all there to bring himself down. Somebody that thinks that I have a power, the power given to me is to crush, is to deal with people. You understand that power was not given to him to do that.
Okay, but there's this aspect of godfatherism that seems to be generating ripples.
There is no godfatherism. What is happening today in Edo State is just one individual who feels that as a governor, I should be respected. I demand second term by all means. Anybody who does not support my second term is an enemy of the state. That is the orientation we are seeing there. There's no godfatherism. Oshomole has not come to Edo to say vote for this person. He has not done that. He has not come to those days to say, Opateke is not coming back. So why are we talking about godfatherism?
But is there anything wrong to seek second term?
The governor has an inalienable right to seek a second term. He has the right. Nobody is depriving him of the right. Just the way I, as an individual, and my brother here, has the right to say, I want to contest the election. We will not go to meet the masses and tell them, this is why I want to be the governor. If the governor feels that he has worked very well, fine and good. He should canvass what he has done to the people, and not by doing all attempt to coerce people to support him.
Okay, thank you. I was expecting the former executive director to the former governor, Adams Oshomole, to be here in respect of public affairs and social media, Prince Greg Ogilgwa, and he was also former deputy director in charge of Godino Baseke's campaign organization. But, well, according to him, he is unable to reach us because he was held somewhere in traffic. But, well, as we look at that, what's your comment in this whole issue as they also came up on Saturday?
Well, it's rather unfortunate that, things have turned out this way, and we must, know that, like I will always say, whatever you do today, what you do now is what you'll be remembered for. There are certain things that people have done in time past and they regretted it. I know IBB at some point said I regretted annulling June 12, and a whole lot of people have said, well, I didn't intend to do it this way. What we are witnessing in Edo State is rather unfortunate. Like I said, the governor, Obaseki, as a person, is a gentleman that I know him to be. Now, if political issues are raising as it stands now, from what they have said, he said he was not informed that the governor or the former governor was coming to town, and now he is in town. Now, those young men or whoever may have constituted the 4+4.
Okay, but sorry to cut in. What should have been the procedure?
Now, the procedure is this.
Of notification.
Listen, the notification issue came on the heels that the governor, the former governor, the national chairman, Adams Oshomole, had said that his life is being threatened. And we had issues before now of people attacking him. And now, when you are coming to town, it's also an issue of courtesy. Not that somebody like I see on social media that says that, you know, must he seek visa to come to Benin. No, no, that your life is very important to us. We need to know. Now, we may not...
So he needs to duly notify
hold on.
the state governor.
Your life is important to us. Now, so that we will not be blamed if some young folks come around you, like it happened the other time, and some arrests were made, and eventually discharged in Abuja and all of that. For us not to get to that muddy waters again, if something, maybe you are coming to town, you can also, it doesn't change anything. Look, for your security, he is the #1 chief security officer of the state as it stands. So you cannot rewrote that fact. He can, you know.
So it was an anomaly that didn't happen. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying, look, you try to understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
If there were no issues have been issue, there would not be need for that. Anybody can come into town. Now that, okay, just like I need the shield of, I'm afraid that some persons are threatening my life, so to say. I can't just be moving anyhow. I need to allow the security officers to know that, look, I need to do this. I don't know, people are after me or they're against me. Then that is nothing wrong. That's nothing wrong. Like he said, I also read, that statement, I don't want to say it's from him, but it's because I read it on social media. He said that he got information that he was going to be attacked and he called the commissioner of police and all of that. If you had called the commissioner of police, why didn't you also call the governor? It may just be happening without the governor's knowledge. And
again, I ask the question. Yes. So that means to you, you suggest that it is an anomaly.
Yes, it's okay. Yes,
that he didn't duly notify the governor about his coming.
Yes, it's okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, it's okay.
Do you share in that opinion, Felix?
Chief, the late Anene, and our very respected elder statesman, Chief Igbinedion, very respected man in those states. When Shomole came in, Shomole had issue of fight, political disagreement between them, which was very tense. Even the past governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Igbinedion, was the former governor of Edo State, which they had so much disagreement, political disagreement. There was no time in the history of Edo State that you and I know that any of them will be coming to Edo State when Oshomole was governor. They will have to notify him because they had disagreement. There was never a time like that they had to seek permission from the governor of a state to enter Edo State.
Do you have the records?
There was never a time. I'm telling you, there was never a time.
Are you speaking from statistics?
I am speaking from what we know.
Okay.
That there was never a time that they were ever attacked. Where the Oshomole now said that it was because they did not notify him, that was why they were attacked. Yes. Was there any time they were ever attacked? No. From the statement of the governor, sometimes we should not try to polish truth. From the statement of the governor that, which ITV also heard, that any time Oshomole comes to Edo State, I will tell you that I'm the governor, we will deal with him. From the statement of the deputy governor, that any time the governor comes to Edo State, we will tell him that we're in charge of Edo State.
Did he say we will deal with him?
I watched it on ITV.
Yeah. But the content, the way you say it, take it out of context.
It is not the
could also be a challenge.
Deal. He used the word DEAL. That was the word he used when he said deal with somebody. What do you mean? So you now expect the national chairman of the party right now to not call a man who is already threatening that we will deal with him, who is already threatening his life, to not call him to say I'm going to Edo State. So he will not have information about his movement to Edo State. What we are saying today, let us call spade a spade. As far as I'm still talking, please. Okay. As far as the law did not provide for something, we do not be saying this is how it ought to be. The law did not say that when you have any political disagreement with anybody, you must have to inform the person before coming to the state.
Okay.
So what we expect, the governor sometimes ago said, I am the governor of Edo State, and I will tell Adam Shomole that I am the governor. Just recently, when Jonathan also went to visit him, he also said that I am the chief security officer of Edo State. He ought to take permission from me. You know, I have a problem with all this.
Okay, we are trying to resolve an issue, and if need be that there must be peace, is it bad for the national chairman to go in that direction?
It is an insult. It is an insult to you and I.
Okay.
It is an insult to our Edo people. It is an insult to our constitution. It is an insult to democracy. For an Edo man, not just the fact that he was the former governor of Edo State, not just the fact that he was the national chairman, for an Edo man to be coming to his state, he will now have to seek permission from an individual who is, say, an Edo man before he comes to Edo State. It is an insult. Tomorrow it means that if I have this agreement with you, because you work in ITV, you are here, I cannot come to ITV again, otherwise I will be late. So what we are supporting tomorrow, today, if we should also look at the implication tomorrow. If, for example, another governor come in tomorrow and say that, okay, because Obaseki did this to me, he would never also come to Edo State. What are we promoting? So for all to have peace in Edo State, people must understand that they were elected into power. They were elected into offices to defend, to protect our people, and not to use the power they have to attack and harass them.
Okay, I want your point of view in
now,
this.
Now, the position is this. Let's get something clear.
Yeah.
We are calling spade a spade. I have no political interest whatsoever. Now, the point is this. Adam Shomole was governor, and he made some very, very laudable, and he did a lot of things in his time.
Laudable projects.
Laudable projects, as it were. We commend all of that.
Oh.
But he also had his time with people and against them. I remember he even talked about the Esama of Benin. He said he was going to cut him to size. The Esama also went back to meet him and invited him for his birthday celebration. I saw it.
Yes, because he's a peace-loving man.
You know, there's nothing there. If the governor have made, okay, like he said he was going to cut the Esama to size, if you don't take those words, the governor said he will deal with him. On what is the basis? Now, if you feel you are being threatened, as it were, the SS is there, reports. That his governor does not mean he cannot be investigated. He may not be prosecuted. If you feel the governor have a hidden agenda to undo you or to kill you, like it's been noised by Thomas Oposun, that he had him said that he was going to kill Adam Shomole, that I take exception to such statements. It's not correct. And I don't want to get involved in political talk because I don't do politics like that. My own take is this. You have said your life is being threatened. That is my own take. And now you are coming to town. Okay, the same guys that I'm happy now that the police apprehended 3 of them. I want those 3 guys that have been arrested by police to be prosecuted. Let them be prosecuted. Let them come out and say that Godwin Obaseki is the one that sent us to go and do what we have done. Let them be prosecuted. Enough of these casting aspersion and speculations. For me, I appreciate the fact that people have right to come up. Let me tell you something. I would like to go back to the Bible. I'm a preaching man. I saw it in the days of David. When David killed Goliath, the Bible said women, they started singing that Saul had killed 1,000 and David had killed 10,000.
Which is somehow humiliating.
Yes, humiliating to the king.
To the king, sitting king.
David didn't send them. So what you are seeing now, some persons are just benefiting fat from this. And that is how I'm saying it. I disagree that the governor wants to attack. Why will he do
So what
that?
I'm trying to say is that in the face of these circumstances,
yes,
the way you react as a leader,
yes,
you go a long way to show if you are a peaceful leader
the national chairman, the national chairman
all right,
is a father to all. Forget the worrying factor. I don't see them like that. I don't even see any crisis there. They say there's crisis in the other day I said here on television, how can Inek Beneki's house be guns around? I said, come on.
Okay.
I said that. I said, come off this. The truth is this. You are the national chairman. Nobody is saying you are not. You should put your house in order. They are all your people. It's all one party. So that is what is, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I disagree totally that the governor had a hand in that. I disagree.
Let's round up with this. Let's round up with this. With the leadership of Chief BC Akonde in this reconciliation matter, is there hope that there will be respite at the end of the day?
We believe that there will be hope, but...
You believe there's hope or that there is respite?
There will be respite, but the truth of the matter is, if this what happens how they could still happen, even when the committee was set up, it's quite unfortunate. One would have expected that since a committee has been set up, people would have put their house in order, they would have had some level of amnesty. It's not just about what happened in the airport. You know, when you have to go and block the house leading to the road leading to the National Chairman's House with government-owned vehicle, and somebody will come and justify that the government is not aware. When would I expect that what a leader, if the government is not aware, as the chief security officer of the state, it would have ordered for the arrest of those people who were responsible for the attack.
Okay, but we can always say that that was
So
like
that is what he would have done. So
we can always say that that was like a
because
domino.
It did not.
Something fell on it that made it to fall on the other.
He had an excuse for the
Thank
attack.
you. Thank you, Felix Isere, and of course, thank you, Dr. Patrick Awosage,
My pleasure.
for being part of this discussion. Well, this is about we can take. We took two aspects of topics. One was on the jumbo pay of the National Assembly and looking at Buhari's comment, and of course the Edo APC feud, closing the gap. We still hope that this gap will be closed, because we look at the nearest future where INEC did set a timeline for the party primaries to take place in Edo State, which will be between June 2nd and June 27th. And we just hope that this report shouldn't generate into or degenerate into that, because if it does, that could smell doom. But we hope that the leaders of thought at various levels will still find a way to galvanize this to a point where respite and peace will be established. Big thanks to our viewers on independent television. It's still TMI, and very shortly we bring you insurance segment.